Hey guys, FNAF22 here with our video, and in today's video I am back talking about two of my favorite video games, Dead by Daylight and Mortal Kombat. Now, about a month ago I did a video where I talked about top 5 Five Nights at Freddy's killers I would love to see in Dead by Daylight, and I thought, you know what, why not make like a technical sequel? I mean, you don't have to watch the first one, but why not make another video where I talk about top 5 Mortal Kombat killers I would love to see in Dead by Daylight. Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite games of all time. Dead by Daylight is one of my favorite newer games, as I've been enjoying playing it a lot, and I've been wanting to make more content on it, so why not talk about 5 Mortal Kombat characters that would fit perfectly as killers in Dead by Daylight. So yeah guys, if you guys haven't seen the first video, like I said, you don't have to watch it, but there will be a link here on screen if you like Five Nights at Freddy's and you want to check it out. It's just me kind of going over how the character could work, what skins they could get, what their special abilities could be, all that good stuff. We're just going to do the same thing here in today's video, but with 5 Mortal Kombat characters. And I wanted to make this kind of a fun list. I didn't want to do a super like basic, like, oh, you get Scorpion, you get Sub-Zero, you know, you get Katana. Like, I didn't want to just throw in the main characters that everybody would want to see. I wanted to throw in some random picks. So these are 5 characters that I feel like would just fit due to like their evil ray or due to their abilities. Could be very fun killers in Dead by Daylight. So let's just jump in with my very first pick at number 5. I've got Noob Saibot. I think Noob Saibot would be such a cool killer in Dead by Daylight. I would love to see his design. I would definitely go with like the Mortal Kombat 11 as his base design, because imagine the name. Imagine the name being like the Reaper or the Shadow. That would be so cool. I would love to see Noob Saibot in Dead by Daylight. I feel like he could be such a creepy and fun killer to play. Now for his basic attack, or his M1 attack, I would just give him his little like handheld scythe that he uses in the newer games. He's got the little sickle and he could just stab the, survivor with it, blood drips off it, nothing crazy. It would be similar to like what the twins have as their M1 attack, but obviously that just fits this kind of vibe we're going for with Noob Saibot. But for his M2, or his special ability, I would give him a really fun one. I would give him his shadow ability. So you could use 3 different versions. So if you guys don't know, in Mortal Kombat, Noob is like the main character. He's the original version, and then he's got Saibot, which is like his shadow demon that comes out of him and that comes out of him and, like does all the attacking for him. So I think it'd be really cool if you could use both characters. For his second ability, you can activate Saibot and he could do a few different things. The first thing would be a slide. This would just be like a little short range slide where he slides out. If he hits a survivor, he just damages them. Nothing crazy. It's a very basic and fundamental move of Noob Saibot. He does it in literally every game. I think it would also be really cool if there was like a grab move where you could throw Saibot, he would chase a survivor kind of down and grab him and hold him in place, kind of like the pinhead thing. The survivor would have to like button mash to try to escape it. If he doesn't in time, Noob could come up and get a little M1 on you. And then the last thing I feel like they would be able to do is some kind of teleport, whether that's like teleporting through the ground or shadow portals. Either way, I think it'd be a really cool mobility thing for him. And I think Noob Saibot could be such a fun character because he could be kind of a mix of like a newer like Grim Reaper character, but at the same time kind of a mix of like the Knight, where you have multiple different attacks and almost multiple different guards that you can send after survivors. Some cool skins I would love to see for Noob Saibot if he came into Dead by Daylight. Of course, we need a classic skin. Love the classic ninja skins. Everybody has to love them. I would also love to see his newer design from Mortal Kombat 1. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I still think it's a, overall pretty cool design, and I feel like it could fit in this game. And then for like a legendary or a premier skin where it kind of changes up like the voice acting or changes up the character, I would love to see a Noob Smoke combo. That'd be so cool if Noob Saibot stays as, the basic character, but instead of you throwing out your shadow, you're throwing out an OG version of Smoke, so we get a collab of Smoke in the game. I think that'd be such a cool skin concept, and I would absolutely love to see Noob Saibot in this game, as he is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters of all time. Next up at number 4, we have Prince Goro, and for his basic design, I would just use his Mortal Kombat X design because I feel like that one just looks the best, just the peak definition of Goro. I think Goro could be such a big, like, scary brute killer. He could be almost like what Nemesis should have been, just a big scary killer. I would love to see Goro in this game, and he's definitely a brutal character. That's what kind of fits for all the Mortal Kombat characters, is they have fatalities, brutalities. They're very brutal killers. Like, they do not play around, so they could easily fit into this universe. reverse. Obviously his M1 or basic attack would just be him swinging his fist. Maybe he swings 2 at you since he's got 4, and I think his special ability or his M2 could be a giant jump stomp. Of course, this is what you do in Mortal Kombat. You jump up in the air and he does the little stomp. I think it'd be really cool if obviously if you hit a survivor, you know, you damage them and maybe get like some deep wounded effects on them so they're a little bit slower, more groggy, all that good stuff. Maybe you can smash pallets with it. If there's a pallet drop down and you jump right on top of it, smashes right through it. Or maybe if you're like in a certain radius of a survivor but you don't hit them, maybe like a gust of wind kind of knocks them off their feet and slows them down for a little bit. I don't know, I just feel like they could do some really cool stuff with his little jump move. Obviously it's not like the most unique power in the world, but I still think it could be really, really cool. I don't have as many skins for Goro as everybody else on this list, but I just think some cool like legendary skins for him would be Kintaro, which is like the tiger cat version of Goro, and Shiva, which is like the technical female version of Goro. I think these 2 skins could be really, really cool as legendaries, especially if they change up like their voice acting and everything and maybe some effects and stuff, because I don't really see these 2 characters becoming real killers in the game, so I just think that'd be a really cool concept for Goro. I would absolutely love to see something like this in the game, just a big, scary, brute killer. Now moving into our top 3, these are the 3 ideas that I love the most, the 3 characters I would love to see the most. Kicking things off with Mileena. I would love to see her Mortal Kombat 9 design. Now I know this one is really, really flashy and it does kind of show off a lot, and I don't really know how like Behavior and Dead by Daylight would feel about, you know, having such a, like a scandalous, I guess you could say, outfit, but they could definitely patch it up in some areas. I just like the base design of Mortal Kombat 9 Mileena. I want a ravenous, like scary Mileena, obviously, and I think Mileena would be such a cool female Mortal Kombat character to get in Dead by Daylight. Obviously her basic like M1 attack would just be her size. I don't think any other killer in the game has size, so this would be like the first unique weapon, which would be really, really cool to see, as well as her M2 would be like her little ball roll from the games where she just rolls at the survivor, and maybe she, if he hits them, you can damage them, or maybe she can like kind of grab them and do a little side stab like she would do in the game. I think that would be really, really cool, but I would also love to see a like special tier effect with her. Certain killers have like special tiers where if you gain a certain amount of things, they get stronger and stronger, kind of like Michael Myers, where if you stalk him enough, then you can start insta-downing people. I think it'd be really cool with like the more like blood that touches Mileena, so you know, whether she's rolling at you or like stabbing you and licking the side, would gain her like Tarkat tier, and then after she hits max, you could do like a rage mode where you get faster, you get stronger, maybe you can insta-down people, and then at that point she would kind of, you know, like show off her full Tarkatan teeth. I think that'd be such a cool and terrifying concept for Mileena. I would love to see like how scary the devs could make her in this game, because honestly Mileena is one of the scariest Mortal Kombat characters if you think about it. She's literally a woman with giant razor sharp teeth. I would love to see if they could do something fun like this, and I think Mileena could be such a fun and cool killer. Some cool skins for Mileena would obviously be like a classic skin, you know, nothing crazy there, as well as like an MKX design. I know a lot of people love her Mortal Kombat X design. I debated on making that like the base style, but I would still love to see it as a skin. And of course we have to get the Deception skin, or the Deadly Alliance. I think it's Deception, but it's like one of the most praised Mileena designs of all time. Of course they'd have to do the fan service and add it in the game. Moving into the number 2 spot, we've got the big bad of the entire franchise. We've got our boy Shao Kahn. Now, I know I bet a lot of people are surprised that Shao Kahn is not number 1 on this list. I almost put him there, but I still think there's one more character that'd be just a little bit cooler. I would love to see Shao Kahn's design based off like the Mortal Kombat 9 version, you know, a basic Shao Kahn who looks so menacing, so terrifying. He'd be such a big killer. I would love his M1 or basic attack just to be the Wrath Hammer. Maybe he's the first killer that kind of holds his weapon with 2 hands, swings this giant hammer at you, you know, gets a giant hit on survivors, which would be so, so cool to see. Then for his M2, I couldn't really think of anything crazy. I would just kind of add some of his basic attacks from the game into Dead by Daylight. So maybe there's like a shoulder charge ability where he can charge at the survivor, get a good hit on them, you know, break through doors, pallets, all that good stuff, as well as maybe like a spear throw where he can throw the spear like he does in Mortal Kombat 11, and if it hits the survivor, maybe it sticks them to the ground for a little bit and they got to try to like kind of pull themselves off it, kind of like Springtrap with his axe when you throw it in their back. I think those could be some really cool like basic stuff for Shao Kahn, as well as I would love to see a special taunt ability. I don't know if they do a perk or an add-on, but I do not care. I would love to see Shao Kahn be the first killer that can taunt survivors, because obviously the survivors can wave at you and like tell you to come over. I would love to see the classic Shao Kahn taunts in this game. Just imagine you're teabagging Shao Kahn, he takes you down and hits you with the classic
"You suck." Shao Kahn wins.
And some really cool skins we could get for Shao Kahn is obviously the brand new movie skin where Martin Ford plays him. He looks so sick. Maybe we could get a General Shao skin from the newer timeline. And of course we can get maybe just a smaller, less armored classic skin. I think Shao Kahn would be such a big and scary killer in Dead by Daylight. But if Dead by Daylight were to collab with Mortal Kombat, there's one more character I would just like to see just a little bit more. And I feel like a lot of people could agree with this. If we ever got a Dead by Daylight and Mortal Kombat collab, my number one pick for who the killer could be would be Shang Tsung. He'd be such a cool killer in Dead by Daylight. He would have so many cool abilities. I would base his, base uniform off like the newer version or even like the Titan form from the newer games because that outfit is just so peak. And the main reason I'm like basing it off that is because his M1 or basic attack would be his little gauntlet slash. And it's not really until the newer games where he has the little, knives on his like wrist, but I still think that'd be such a cool design and I would love to see him play out. Now obviously the biggest thing for Shang Tsung would be his M2 or his special ability. Imagine a shape-shifting ability where he could turn into 3 of the classic Mortal Kombat ninjas to do a variety of different things. The first one would be Scorpion. You turn into Scorpion, you shoot the spear out of the wrist, yell the classic "get over here," and you hook the survivor. Maybe it's kind of like the Death Slinger, but instead of drawing them in, it instantly pulls them in for you and then you can get a nice M1 on them. The only thing would be I feel like the chain would have to be a little bit smaller than the Death Slinger because there's no like obstacle of reeling the survivor in, so it'd be a little OP if you could just hit him from halfway across the map and pull him in. But I think that'd be a really cool like nod to Scorpion. I would love to see one to Sub-Zero where maybe you could freeze the ground below a survivor to slow them down, kind of like Clown does with his little bottles. And then for my third ninja, I chose Reptile. Maybe you can shoot like a little acid ball that slowly chases the survivor down. If it hits them, obviously it'll hurt them, maybe put them into deep wound or like some kind of a status effect where they're slowly dying. And maybe this acid ball could also, travel through like doors and pallets and break through all that stuff. I just think that'd be such a cool concept of a killer, and I would love to see how like a shape-shifting killer would work in Dead by Daylight. And I feel like Shang Tsung would just be the best choice in any scenario. He is such an iconic character. It would be such a fun killer. And of course, some really cool skins we could see for Shang Tsung is like a classic skin, nothing crazy, just OG Shang Tsung. We could see an old man version of him since, he turns to an old man and a young man every now and then. And then I would also really like to see a blighted skin for him. Now, if you guys don't know, in the lore of Dead by Daylight, the Blight is one of the main characters who, does experiments on other characters and other killers and turns them into these weird, like, gross, deformed creatures. I would love to see a blighted version of Shang Tsung. I feel like he would look so cool. Maybe it's mixing with like his, soul powers. I just think it would be such a cool concept. I would just love to see how it turns out. I feel like Behavior could cook with a Mortal Kombat collab. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you always be notified for when I drop another video. Let me know in the comments down below. Would you guys like to see a Mortal Kombat and Dead by Daylight collab? And if so, which characters would you like to see as killers in the game? What powers would you give them? All that good stuff. I thought I'd make this video because, like I said, I've been really enjoying Dead by Daylight and I wanted to talk more about it. And of course, I love Mortal Kombat, and the new Mortal Kombat movie is right around the corner. So what not a better time to do this video than now? Technically, there is going to be a third part, even though this is kind of like a mini series. We did FNAF, we did Mortal Kombat. I want to do a part 3 where I just talk about top 10 killers I would love to see in Dead by Daylight, period. Not from FNAF, not from Mortal Kombat, just from any source of media, horror films, all that good stuff. And because Dead by Daylight's 10-year anniversary is coming soon, I feel like this was just the perfect way to space it out, as you guys will get the part 3 to this kind of mini series probably within the next month or two. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.